Two cars pull into the same intersection. Same speed, same angle, same impact. Behind the wheel of one is a 45-year-old. Behind the wheel of the other is a 75-year-old. According to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the older driver is about 4 times more likely to die in that side impact. About 3 times more likely in a frontal one. Same crash, different outcome. And the reason isn't driving ability. The Institute is clear that Americans in their 70s and 80s are crashing less often than they used to. It's fragility. Bones, chest walls, and organs are simply less able to absorb the same forces at 75 than at 45. Now here's the part that should change how anybody over 60 shops for a car. The Institute also found that drivers aged 71 and older are significantly more likely to be driving vehicles that are 16 years old or more. The people who need the most protection from a crash are, on average, driving the cars that offer the least. This video is about closing that gap. 3 things a used car must have before anything else is considered. Then the vehicles that deliver them, alongside genuinely easy access. And at the end, 2 cars that get recommended to seniors constantly, which this channel cannot recommend. And the reason why. Comfort matters. Getting in and out matters enormously. But those come second, because a soft ride doesn't help anybody in the crash that follows. Here are the 3 the safety data points to. Number 1. Electronic stability control. Stability control senses a skid starting and brakes individual wheels to correct it. It prevents the crash rather than surviving it. The Institute found that for drivers 70 and over, vehicles without stability control carried 37% higher odds of driver fatality. 37%. From one system. The useful part is that this is easy to check. Stability control became required equipment on all vehicles from model year 2012 onward. So, model year 2012 is a clean floor. Anything older can still have it, and many do, but it has to be verified on that specific car, rather than assumed. Number 2. Head protecting side airbags. These are the curtain airbags that drop from above the windows, as distinct from the ones in the seat, which protect the torso. The finding here is the starkest in the whole study. In driver-side crashes, vehicles without standard head-protecting side airbags carried roughly double the odds of an older driver being killed. Double. That's not a refinement. That's the single biggest lever available. Number 3. Size and weight. Physics doesn't negotiate. In the same research, older drivers in small passenger cars faced roughly double the fatality risk compared to those in large SUVs. That doesn't mean everybody needs a large SUV. A mid-size sedan or crossover is a reasonable place to land, and the ease of getting in and out often matters more day to day. But the very small, very light car is the wrong direction for this age group, however good the fuel economy looks. So, 2012 or newer. Curtain airbags confirmed. Mid-size or larger. That's the floor. Now the vehicles that clear it. Number 1. The Toyota RAV4. The 4th generation RAV4 from 2013 onward does the thing that matters most for daily use. The cargo floor is low. That sounds minor until you're lifting groceries, a folded walker, or a suitcase. A low-load floor means sliding things in rather than hoisting them up and over a high bumper. With the rear seats down, there's a substantial amount of space back there. Genuinely useful capacity, without any of the climbing a pickup demands. Seat height is the other advantage, high enough to see over traffic, low enough that getting in isn't a step up. On 2017 and 2018 models, Toyota Safety Sense became widely fitted, which adds forward collision warning and automatic emergency braking. Worth seeking out. The Institute found only about a quarter of older buyers treat automatic braking as a requirement, against about 40% of middle-aged buyers. Number 2. The Lexus RX 350. The RX is the one to beat on access, and it's a design decision rather than an accident. The seat sits at roughly hip height for most adults, which turns getting in into a sideways slide. No stepping up into it. No lowering yourself down into it. For anyone with hip stiffness, arthritis, or a replacement, that single geometric fact outranks almost every other feature. The cabin is also unusually quiet, which matters more than people expect. For hearing aid users, and for anybody who finds a long drive draining rather than restful. The reputation for expensive luxury repairs doesn't apply the way people assume. Underneath, it shares a great deal with ordinary Toyotas, so an independent local shop can handle it, and the parts aren't exotic. The badge is premium. The running costs mostly aren't. Number 3. The Mazda CX-5. The CX-5 earns its place on one feature that's disappearing everywhere else. It isn't operated by touchscreen. Mazda used a rotary control knob on the center console. You reach down, and the knob is where it was last time, and you turn it by feel without looking away from the road. Compare that to hunting through touchscreen menus at speed, where every glance is a moment of not watching traffic. Physical controls aren't nostalgia. They're the interface that doesn't demand your eyes. From 2016 onward, most trims carried a full driver assistance suite. Adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. Rear cross traffic alert deserves a specific mention. It warns of vehicles approaching from the sides while reversing out of a parking space, which is the maneuver that gets hardest with reduced neck rotation. Number 4. The Subaru Forester. The Forester's case is visibility. Thin roof pillars, tall windows, and a high seating position combine into a genuinely unobstructed view out. Modern cars have moved steadily the other way. Thicker pillars for rollover strength, higher window lines for styling, and the result is more blind spots to check by turning your head. The Forester needs less turning. All-wheel drive is standard, which is real value in a snowy or wet region. And the door sills are low enough that swinging your legs out doesn't require planning. Stay with 2014 or newer to be safely inside the stability control era. And look for EyeSight, Subaru's camera-based collision avoidance system. Now the hard part, and it needs saying carefully. 2 cars appear on almost every list of this kind. The Ford Crown Victoria, with its Mercury Grand Marquis twin, and the Buick LeSabre. The affection is completely understandable. Both have front bench seats and no center console to climb over. Both have famously soft rides. Both are mechanically simple, cheap to fix, and known to every mechanic in the country. Those are real virtues, and this video isn't going to pretend otherwise. But the LeSabre ended production in 2005. The Crown Victoria and Grand Marquis ended civilian production shortly after, which means every one of them on the road today sits well before the stability control mandate. And most were built without head-protecting curtain airbags. Go back to the 2 numbers. No stability control. 37% higher fatality odds for a driver over 70. No head-protecting side airbags. Roughly double the odds in a driver side crash. The Institute has a term for exactly this pattern. The older, comfortable, familiar car, chosen by the driver who is least able to survive a serious crash in it. If somebody already owns one and it's serving them well, this isn't an instruction to rush out and replace it. But when the next purchase comes around, that comfortable bench seat is being paid for in a currency worth naming out loud. 3 requirements. Model year 2012 or newer for stability control. Head-protecting curtain airbags, confirmed on the specific car. Mid-size or larger. Then, and only then, the things that make a car pleasant to live with. The low load floor, the hip height seat, the knob you can turn without looking. Bob's rule now is a single question that he asks before he lets himself like a car. Would this protect a 72-year-old or just a 45-year-old? Same crash, different body. The car has to make up the difference. What's on your driveway right now, and does it clear the 3? Say so in the comments. The year matters more than the make. Next in this series, the 5 big purchases retirees almost always regret.